here's a view from close to 59th Street and Central Park West, 15 Central Park West. It's one of the most exclusive buildings in New York City. Now, this is where Sandy Weill, the former chairman of Citibank, had an apartment that he sold for $88 million to a billionaire from Russia. And the billionaire from Russia said that his daughter, 18-year-old daughter, was the owner of the apartment, which was not the case. And it's actually one of the apartments with the balconies. You can see that you have this terrace up there, and it was an entire floor for $88 million. And 15 Central Park West is one of the best buildings in the city. And when it was finished, the Zeckendorf family were able to sell the units, the condominium units, for top dollar because it was such a ideal location. Right near Central Park, ideal views, just perfect. Closer view of 15 Central Park West and the entrance on the Central Park West side. Now, it's not an overly ornate entrance from the exterior. That's because there's even a better entrance that's a full semi-traffic circle right over here. And you can see in the distance, they have plenty of space to enter in for a car and then for them to, unobserved, let their passengers off. And that's one of the best things about this building. The very high-profile people could enter and leave unnoticed. And that's what a lot of people liked about this building. And we can take a closer look at the exterior. It's just a beautiful building. There used to be the Mayflower Hotel on this site, and that's where the main building is. They had the Mayflower Hotel there. They waited years to acquire the Mayflower Hotel. The Zeckendorf family left a parcel of land vacant, unbuilt, for many, many years, anticipating the day when they would acquire the Mayflower Hotel and then subsequently build this really great development. Is the beautiful private entryway to 15 Central Park West. You can see, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to be unobserved, you can very easily just drive your car in here, park, or drop off your passengers, and then be on your way. And that's one of the amenities for 15 Central Park West. And this is the taller building here. It goes up and up and up. And then the less tall building is where the former Mayflower Hotel was. And that's what we were looking at from the Central Park West side. And you can see here, just for a sake of perspective, that is Central Park. We were over there before. So you can see a beautiful building that overlooks Central Park. Really, really nice that it's like that. And all the wonderful neighbors we have here. And this is bordering on Broadway, and you can see Broadway right over there. You know, it's just a very nice area for the building to be in. From the angle of 61st and Broadway, you can have another view of 15 Central Park West. Now, it is a very notable building, as I mentioned earlier, because there's so many prominent people that live in 15 Central Park West. And when it was finished, many people wanted to buy it. Now, they developed 15 Central Park West as if it was just before World War II. The high ceilings, big apartments, because of the way they constructed it, they had to sell each apartment for a lot of money. Because when you have 10, 13-foot ceilings, when you have a big 2, 3, 4-bedroom apartment, or half a floor or a quarter of a floor, you cannot sell it for a reasonable. You cannot sell an apartment for a reasonable price. It becomes a luxury apartment, and thus the folks who were attracted to this building were the ultra high net worth people, and that's only logical because the apartments were designed to be sold to ultra high net worth people. And even to this day, it has really retained a really good sales value because the apartments are unique. The apartments are what people want to live in. And I guess if you have more than enough money than you know what to do with, you can buy anything that you choose. And so for a lot of the buyers here who have more than enough money, their choice is to buy here at 15 Central Park West because it retains its value over the years. And that's one of the key factors that happens when you buy a place, because you just don't buy a place to throw your money away. You're trying to buy with the idea of making a good investment that you could later on sell and recoup the money that you spent on your apartment. Closer look at the retail at 15 Central Park West. It's always a very interesting factor in many buildings. Who owns the retail? Usually it's the developer who owns the retail, because there's a law in New York State and New York City that if a condominium building starts to make too much from anything outside of the real estate itself, then it becomes a commercial venture, and then the owners of the condos are not entitled to deduct their income tax from their apartments. So that's one of the main reasons why most developers retain the commercial space, and also it's very valuable. Some of the developers, what they'll do, instead of owning it themselves, they'll turn the commercial space into condominium space and then sell it outright. And there are many people out there who are willing to buy that space as a condominium and have money coming in. Well, for example, if certain space costs $100 million, you pay cash and you can get 5% on your money, it's a lot better than putting $100 million into a bank and getting 0%. So that's the idea behind people putting their money into real estate. But in addition to that, not only do you get your 5% from renting out the space to some retailer, but you're going to get appreciation. So in 10, 20 years, you're going to be making a lot more than 5% a year. And that's just the retail space, regarding the retail space here of 15 Central Park West. But you also have many of the other amenities. You have the rooftop that's here, and it's just beautiful seeing the rooftop. And I'm sure this is a common rooftop because it's just too nice for it to be a private rooftop. It would be way too expensive for it to be a private rooftop. And that's one of the things that a lot of buildings like to do. They like to have amenities for everyone, so that way they make it into a much nicer building versus just a building with apartments and people living in it. Here we go. You can see all the beautiful apartments from this side. And then another angle of the view for the building at 15 Central Park West that faces Central Park. And those are beautiful terraces there. Imagine a wraparound terrace. The folks that buy these apartments are wealthy enough to actually buy a whole floor. So the entire terrace that wraps around the front becomes one family's terrace. It's just beautiful seeing that. And that's the beautiful rooftop right there that they have. Beautiful terrace to enjoy a beautiful day.